Okay. Um, Hi. I am going to talk about how my intuition uh, gifted me with a dream that saved my life. I was diagnosed with cervical cancer in September of last year, and the way that I got diagnosed was I had this dream. I had a series of dreams wherein I kept having problems down there in my lady bits, and an ominous awareness around that pain. And in my waking life, I had some worries that there was something really wrong because my periods were getting more painful. Um, if anyone's squeamish about these topics, click off now because um, I'm going to be talking about hysterectomy and my lady bits and cancer and sexually transmitted disease. So, trigger warning, I guess, okay? Anyway, onward. One dream in particular, I had a terrible pain down there. I went to a very official looking person in a white coat and I said, "What's wrong with me?" And they said, "You have cancer." I awoke from this dream and I was very, very annihilated on a psychic, emotional level. It just laid me out. But my rational mind came to the rescue and said, "That's just a dream, you're just paranoid, you're kind of an anxious person, you're just worrying, it's fine." But I couldn't shake it, and so I decided to do some research, and as it turns out, it had been about 10 years since I contracted the HPV virus, a high-risk strain of the HPV virus, and that is the average time that it takes the HPV virus to develop into a cancer. Now, it's not always that, of course, some people get it immediately, most people never get it, the cancer, but when it happens, it usually takes about a decade. So I fell into that time frame perfectly. I'd had a couple of abnormal paps. I had seen Planned Parenthood and health department doctors all over the country. I moved around. I didn't have a steady doctor. There were lots of things adding up that made me very concerned. So I did my research and asked around until I found a young, feminist, female gynecologist. And I went to her and I spoke from the heart and expressed to her all of my concerns, right? I didn't tell her about my dream, but I expressed to her all of my concerns. She tests me. My pap smear comes back normal. Normal. And then, for whatever reason, she decided to go ahead and do a colposcopy, which is the biopsy they do when you have an abnormal pap, if they're concerned. It detects abnormal cells. And so the colposcopy found the cancer. So that's that's pretty crazy, right? That's enough information to impart for one video, really, just because, A, your pap smear can come back clean and you can still have cancer. And I'm not trying to scare anybody necessarily. I just feel like we all avoid our pap smears, and when we do get it, we don't think much of it. It can save your fucking life. It can. Because it can detect those changes. What happened with me was that my cancer was so new. It was stage 1A1 at a microscopic level of invasion, less than 4 millimeters of invasion, and could only be detected via the colposcopy. So they did the colposcopy. They found the cancer. I had no insurance. And I had to apply for an emergency fund for women who have breast and cervical cancer. The application process was extremely convoluted. It was like trying to jump rope, cook dinner, file your taxes, and give a good blowjob all at the same time. It was just... Or if you've ever tried to deal with the government and called 5 people and no, they don't know what's going on, and they keep referring you to somebody else and they don't know what's going on. So whatever, it was difficult. But I had to cut through a lot of red tape, and I did it. There were gatekeepers along the way who were stern, and there were gatekeepers who were very, very kind. There were a few special people who walked me, there was a nurse in particular who walked me through the application process, helped me get my paperwork in order, and faxed that application with an expedite stamp on it. Like, this girl has adenocarcinoma, which is an aggressive form of cervical cancer. She has no insurance. She needs a hysterectomy now. So that happened. It happened so fast, man. It happened so fast. So I guess the point of this video is sleep with the High Priestess card under your pillow, like I did. And you might learn some things. Your body might start talking to you. Your subconscious might start speaking to you. If you're paying attention, you can receive wisdom from wherever it comes from. It doesn't matter, does it? Does it really matter where it comes from? For all you paranoids out there, you know, I dig. Like, it's hard to trust your intuition whenever you are an anxious type. I'm an anxious type. I've had my bouts of paranoia in the past, which is one of the reasons why it was so difficult for me to accept that this dream could be my body speaking to me in a way, the only way it really could. At such an early stage of cervical cancer, there are no symptoms. The pap smear missed it, but even though all of these things sort of lined up for me to get diagnosed, I didn't have any insurance. And then more things lined up in order for me to get the operation that I needed to save my life. So, if it can happen for me, it can happen for somebody else. And if you're struggling with doctors and diagnoses and you don't feel like you're being heard, or you feel like maybe there's something wrong but you're afraid to look at it and get help, go get help. Go get checked. Because if they find it soon, they'll save your life. And much love to anyone watching this video, especially if you are struggling. It feels good to say this to the world. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. I feel like I've said everything I need to say. I hope everyone has a wonderful, very good, happy, wonderful Rishiko day. Be fabulous. And if you've got cancer, kick cancer's ass.